Guys, we got to talk about this Blizzard story because this is pretty huge. All right. And I know like it's going super viral right now because of what's happening with Asmongold and the video that's been shared around. But let me give you guys a little bit of history and context real quick before we get into it. So, Asmongold ended up discussing the Blizzard scandal. Okay. Blizzard scandal that was discussed over the last couple of years where Blizzard was essentially accused of all kinds of insane stuff related to, workplace misconduct, sexual harassment, misconduct, abuse, all that stuff, basically having a frat boy culture. And come to find out, after an investigation from outside sources, in California themselves, by the way, investigated, there was nothing to be found, no evidence substantiated whatsoever. And essentially, Jason Schreier also admitted that some of the stories were basically not true. It was complete bullshit, completely fake. But these are still stories that were pushed out there as if they were true, and they're still being utilized to this day against certain people that certain other people do not like for whatever that reason may be. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you guys want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join me every single day, 9 p.m. over on the main channel, where you can catch me live every single day, 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see every single one of you there. Now back to the main video. So I saw this post from Asmongold Updates, and it says Asmongold reveals the Blizzard harassment scandal was proven fake. All the allegations of sexual misconduct, abuse, and harassment in frat boy culture were entirely fake. California admitted that there was no evidence substantiating any of the claims. The breast milk theft, the Cosby Room, the harassment driving an employee to end her life, all of it was theater over the fact that only 1 in 5 Blizzard employees were women. Blizzard paid $18 million and set up HR practices that discriminate against white men. Internal messages between California officials show the entire thing was a ploy to send a message to the industry to literally ruin video games. Do you remember when I said gamers are the most oppressed group in society? It's not women, it's not gay people, it's not trans, it's gamers. We're having our spaces colonized, and they're getting mad at us for not liking it. So let's check it out. Let's see what he has to say directly from his mouth. Here we go.
In case you didn't know, all of the allegations of sexual misconduct, abuse, harassment, and quote, frat boy culture were entirely fake, and the state of California even admitted that there is no evidence substantiating any of the claims. The entire controversy around—
Which, by the way, guys, just so you're aware, about a year after this happened, what ended up happening? A year or so after Blizzard and this entire thing blew up and they got accused of all the worst, right? With Activision Blizzard, what ended up happening? I think I got disconnected. Fuck. Hold on. Did I get disconnected? Can you guys still hear me? Oh, I'm back now. Hold on. It says I'm back. All right. Never mind. That was weird. Can you guys hear me? Chat? Can chat hear me? We hear? Okay, cool. So what ended up happening, right? About a year or so after this happened, they got bought out. They got bought out. Think about that. About a year after this happened, about a year after the company was completely torn down from the inside, they got bought out. It's crazy, right? It's almost as if this was calculated. It's unbelievable, bro. It really
Blizzard
is.
Was set up by California to force the company to stop hiring white men, using Me Too allegations to strong-arm them.
Blizzard was set up by California to force the company to stop hiring white men. And when they wouldn't get their way, they used all kinds of nonsense, Me Too allegations, all that kind of... Oh, boy. This is crazy, bro. And think about this, because Blizzard was one of my favorite companies of all time. It really was. And their downfall that we have witnessed, which, by the way, do you guys notice who's in charge of Blizzard now? I'm sure you guys know who's in charge of Blizzard now, right? The same woman who thinks that Warcraft is too strong of a name. And that, according to her, that Chris Metzen told her that he wishes that they didn't name it Warcraft. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all, to be honest with you. but I'm just going based on what she's saying. That they wish that they didn't name it Warcraft because apparently it's too intimidating. Warcraft is apparently too it's fucking, bro. Oh my god. So gay. It's so gay, right? So anyway, so this seems extremely calculated, and it really showcases how far some people are willing to go to completely ruin companies from the inside as long as they get their way, right? Realistically, I guess these women over at Blizzard realize that the only way that they're going to get into positions of power is not through their own actual skill set, because that was for the 1 out of 5, right? 1 out of 5 people working at Blizzard was a woman. Those 1 out of 5 people, that was women who actually earned their place. The other women who didn't earn their place or couldn't earn their place or couldn't keep up for whatever reason, they realized that there's a way to weaponize that and to get their way, and that was this nonsense. But see, the thing about this is that, yeah, you could lie and you could damage, but the truth eventually comes out at some point in time. It's only a matter of time. And this is exactly what's going on now. You know, realistically, I'll say this realistically. When it comes down to it, when a story sounds so insane, when a story sounds so bizarre, when a story sounds way too juicy, it probably is, right? 9 out of 10 times when a story is just way too fucking juicy, it probably is heavily curated and most likely bullshit, right? Most likely. But anyway, let's continue. Dragon Defender says there's a video of Chris Method saying that he's seen it, he's betrayed us. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Again, I wouldn't be surprised, though. Think about it. If you see your company taken over by a bunch of activists and you see people getting fired left and right that look exactly like you, yeah, I'm not exactly shocked that all of a sudden he'd be like, oh, yeah, of course, Warcraft, yeah, it's too intimidating. Yeah, okay. You really want me to believe that he believes that? I don't believe that.
Some of the accusations were so bizarre and insane that they included theft and consumption of breast milk during work hours,
It's fucking stupid.
a rape room named after Bill Cosby.
Bro, a rape room named after Bill Cosby. Are we serious right now? I remember reading this years ago and saying that sounds insane. That sounds literally like, how could that even, like, how could you even get away with that? Realistically, like, in what world, in what modern world can you get away with? I just, not that it's not possible. It's just that after a while, it sounds like fan fiction. It sounds like fan fiction from someone who's extremely angry and wants to create this insane narrative. Like, what are we doing?
Sexual harassment to the point of an employee ending her life. All of these claims were essentially a theater performance over the fact that only 1 in 5 Blizzard employees were women.
Wow.
As a result, Blizzard agreed.
Only 1 in 5. Only 1 in 5. Like, why is that only? Why is that a bad thing? Only 1 in 5. That's still a lot of women. That's a lot of women that are working at the company. But only 1 in 5, apparently, that's a bad thing.
To pay roughly $18 million in fines and set up HR hiring practices that would discriminate against white men. Internal messages between California Civil Rights Division officials.
Also, think about one thing really quick. This story with Blizzard was utilized and weaponized to push this kind of stuff into other studios and other companies. Think about that. So this scenario that was fabricated in California was utilized and pushed in other studios and other companies all across the globe. Because of how massive Blizzard was and Activision was at the time, because of how big they were, this was huge, right? This was a huge, like, oh, wow. If they're capable of this, I can only imagine what other companies. And at that point, every woman saw, oh, yeah, I can make up shit too. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, Blizzard was patient zero, exactly. Well, I wouldn't say patient zero, but they're damn near patient zero at that point. Because that's when all the HR fucking nonsense started happening. It was crazy, bro.
Showed the entire thing was a ploy to send a message to the industry to literally ruin video games.
Wow.
Wow. How about that? That's crazy. I don't even know what to say.
Oh, it worked. I'll say that. It worked, right? It may be getting purged right now. It may be working its way out little by little, but ultimately, this situation led to the vast infection that has spread for many years all across the industry. And it absolutely did work. Even if it's for a time, it still worked, right? Crazy shit, man.
Do you remember, somebody in chat said this, Do you remember when I said that gamers are the most oppressed group in society? It's not women, certainly not women. It's not gay people. It's not trans. It's not disabled people. It's gamers. Gamers are the most openly discriminated against group.
I've always said that I do find it interesting that for some reason all the rules of logic go out the window when it comes to the gaming industry. All rules of logic do not exist in this industry because for some reason you're not allowed to have that thought process. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but it's like a rhetorical question, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, for example, why is it that in the gaming industry a trailer is not meant to help you decide whether or not you want to be interested in buying a game or not? How come in the gaming industry, for some reason, when you look at a trailer, you're not allowed to say that that game looked like shit because of the trailer and that you're not interested? You'll get people that gaslight you and say, "Well, you didn't even play, you didn't even pay for the game and play the game." It's like, yeah, why would I? Why would I? If I go to see a house and the house looks like shit, do I got to go and buy the house and solidify into a 30-year mortgage before I decide that the house is shit? What, like, why is it that just is not allowed for some reason? You know, there's so many things, there's so many rules. They're just like the rules of logic that go out the window with this industry. And it's because they ultimately are designed with people that want to emotionally trap you. They want to get you emotionally involved. They want to make you feel guilty for not immediately supporting them or feeling bad for them or anything like that. It's crazy, man. I don't get it.
We're not Jews, it's gamers. We're having our spaces colonized and they're getting mad at us for not liking it.
That's exactly what it is. They're getting mad at us for not liking their changes, right? So anyway, he should have left our video games alone. That's crazy, bro. Feared as what the fuck? That's insane. Anyway, so you know, realistically, guys, Blizzard's not gonna do shit, right? Blizzard's not gonna do shit. You know, this guy's saying if this is true, if I were Blizzard, I would sue for billions of damages. The problem with that is the people that would sue, that would work at Blizzard, that were affected by this, have already been let go for many years. They've been let go for many years. They've been fired already. So the Blizzard that's there right now is the Blizzard that these people wanted. It's the Blizzard that they've actively, you know, co-opted. It's that Blizzard. So why would they sue themselves? It'd be like, oh yeah, I guess we did this a little bit too good. Let's sue ourselves because, you know, we were successful. That's not gonna happen, right? And it just goes to show, man. Oh, Chris Metzen, no. I mean, it's kind of true though. Man, I used to be so excited to hear any kind of like lore discussion with Chris Metzen. I don't know if you guys remember, but every time at BlizzCon, they would always have Chris Metzen come out and explain from a lore perspective what was about to happen in the next expansion. And it was so exciting. It was awesome to hear him like break it all down and stuff. This was like the brains of the operation. And now, unfortunately, that's just not the case whatsoever, man. It's kind of sad, but in any case, so you also have this kind of story here. So Chris Kaleki says that even Jason Schreier admitted in his latest book that the Cosby Suite was a fake nothing burger and that Kotaku was full of shit. So a lot of this also stems from, yes, I know you're about to be shocked when I say this, the gaming media. Yeah, I know. Wow, the gaming media had a big influence on people believing this to be true. I know, shocker. Gee, it's almost as if they had their own internal plans and the reason why they wanted to push this story. But anyway, so Kotaku ended up writing a story. Mr. Ethan Gack, I believe, was the one that wrote the story. He still to this day doubles down and he says, like, this is his reporting. He's going to double down on it. So whatever. But the damage was already done, and many great Blizzard devs had, in some cases, 20-plus year careers ruined since nobody wanted to hire supposedly problematic developers when apparently it was all fake. Heartbreaking and infuriating. So, again, even Jason Schreier admitted this, and he says, just to clarify, Kotaku was the one originally who had sloppy reporting on Blizzard and the Cosby Suite, not Jason Schreier. Jason actually did the story justice by interviewing those that were there and reporting the truth. His book, Play Nice, is actually quite good on Blizzard. You remember reading that in Schreier's book, and Jason actually confronts the journalist Ethan Gack, who reported on that story for Kotaku on whether he regretted it or if he would have done anything differently in retrospect. His response, I stand by my reporting. So he has to say that, though. You can't say you regret it. You can't say that it was a mistake. You can't say anything like that because then you open yourselves up to potential lawsuits or potential any of that stuff. So he's going to double down and he's going to say, yep, well, I stand by my reporting. It is what it is. Right? Keep in mind, guys, there have been multiple people at Kotaku that have purposely misrepresented things, and they flat out have said that they don't care how you believe they should represent things. They don't care. They're going to represent it the way they want to represent it, whatever that way may be. They've said this many, many times over. So realistically, to expect anything different from them, I don't really know why people even expect any of that, to be honest with you. We already know what they're going to do, right? And not only that, Jason Schreier, even though he himself in his book may have went after Ethan Gack even slightly, at the end of the day, this guy actively promotes these people and he actively sides with them on multiple different occasions that we all know he should not be siding with them on. But because he hates the Chuds so much, he'd rather side with them knowing that it's probably going to end up in bullshit versus just admitting that, hey, maybe the Chuds were right this time. Maybe the Chuds were right, you know? I believe it was Jason Schreier that was like, get woke, go to the top of the charts for Dragon Age the Veilguard. How's that working out? How is that working out, buddy? Many Blizzard developers in the book cite that specific article as career-ending and led to professional repercussions. The examples in the book are Dave Kozak and Paul Cesares. So these people literally lost their job because of those articles. They lost their jobs because of that article. They cite that article, that specific one, as the reason why it was career-ending. And now we come to find out that it was all pretty much bullshit. It's crazy, man. It's honestly, it really is sad at the end of the day. And these are the ones, by the way, these are the ones who will tell you that you should feel bad for developers being fired. That you should feel bad that developers are losing their job, and that if you're making fun of developers losing their job, then you're heartless. These are those people. But meanwhile, they're responsible for developers losing their job by pushing out bullshit and lies, and they're just going to be like, well, I stand by my reporting. It is what it is. It's amazing how the gamers usually always get proven right, whether it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line. It doesn't matter. People smell bullshit so easily these days. We can spot bullshit so easily these days. And they desperately want to make us seem as if we shouldn't recognize this stuff. Or we should not be, like, this should not be in our faces. Even though they put it in our faces all the time. So I think it's kind of amazing how if you look back in the history of gaming media, Kotaku's at the centerfold for a lot of controversy, a lot of problem causing, a lot of shit stirring. If you look back in history, this is why they were made they were made fun of with that very classic meme. Do you guys remember the 404 journalist integrity not found at Kotaku error, the meme that was there at the convention? It was there for a reason. Because people even back then knew that Kotaku was on average full of shit. And as time goes on, it only gets worse. When these people are not held to any standard that results in their, actions being taken against them or anything like that, it only gets worse. So in any case, and the sad thing is that Kotaku continues to get bought out not because they're good. Kotaku gets bought out because they're the information that they have control over is worth money. The amount of emails that they have, the amount of, think about all the people that have signed up for Kotaku over the decades, right? Think about how much that's worth to these companies that are buying out these companies just for the information that they have. The email blasts that are capable with them, like they're being bought out for the data that they have, not because they're any good as a website. Their history is keeping them alive, ironically. And their history is also what makes them essentially made fun of all the time. So I wanted to share this story because I thought it was pretty crazy. I'm also not shocked by it in the slightest. And realistically, just another example of modern day gaming media refusing to admit when they've done something wrong. And this is just another example of that.